You guys have that IREAD test coming up soon, so we're going to do a little bit more practice work. So we're going to do a practice PowerPoint together where I show you what some of the questions will look like. And then today, after you're done with this, you have a Google Form practice test. It is fairly long, but so is the IREAD test. So this is really good practice. And I also canceled silent reading so that you could use those 20 minutes towards this test and you didn't have a lot of extra stuff to do today. So let's get started. So first we're going to choose the word that means the opposite of the underlined word. So on your IREAD test, you are going to have opposites. You're going to have synonyms, words that mean the same, and antonyms, words that mean opposite. Just pay really close attention to if it wants you to find something that's the same or opposite. Kids missed questions last year and every year because they aren't paying close attention to what it asks them. So this says opposite. So here we go. The puppies were very energetic. What is the opposite of energetic? You see the word energy in there. So the opposite of hyper, opposite of energetic. So hyper is energetic. Active is energetic. Cute doesn't mean energetic, but it also doesn't mean the opposite. Lazy. The answer would be B. If you don't have energy, you might feel kind of lazy. So B. All right, this one you do without me. Okay, so on the test, nobody will read these two. That's why I didn't read it. So which is A, B, C, or D? What is the opposite of the underlined word? So she followed the class to the park. If you're following someone, you're traveling, that's not really the opposite. You went somewhere, it's opposite. Job doesn't even make sense. So lead, the opposite of following is leading. The answer was A. Okay, let's do another one. You read it all by yourself. So I'm going to tell you right now that a lot of times when kids do this, they go ahead and pick because they see the word hungry and they see the word starving. They relate those together and they choose that as the answer. But remember, this one asked you for the opposite. So that would not be right. So what is the opposite of being hungry? Hungry and starving are the same. Sick and hungry don't relate. You could be hungry and sick. You could be full and sick. So full is the opposite of hungry. So C was the answer. All right, another one. Okay, so the game was very exciting. What is the opposite of exciting? And even if you didn't know what one of these words meant, enjoyable, if you're exciting, you like it, enjoyable, that doesn't seem like an opposite. If you don't know what dull means, skip it. Interesting means you like it, exciting, you like it, so that doesn't seem right. And fun and exciting are the same. Dull, if something's dull, it's boring. So the answer was B. All right, let's move on to something else. All right, so now I'm changing the directions a little bit to choose the word that means the same or about the same as the underlined word. So the exact same or something similar. Here we go. I'll read the first one to you. Her grandpa was very wise. And this time we do want the same. What could I put in that means the same thing? Her grandpa was very dumb. No, her grandpa was very intelligent. I think so. Her grandpa was very quiet. Her grandpa was very old. They could all make sense, but the only one that means the same thing as wise is intelligent. So the answer would be B. All right, next one you read and do by yourself. So you're finding something that means the same as the underlined word. The underlined word is difficult. So does difficult mean desired, easy, challenging, or quick? You should have said challenging is something that is difficult. It is a challenge. It is challenging. All right, next one. The movie was too lengthy to watch in one sitting. Lengthy would be like long. So something that means the same as that. Remember, we're doing same. So short doesn't work. Terrible doesn't mean the same as long or short. Enjoyable, long. So the movie was too long to watch in one sitting. All right, let's move on to something else. Okay, this one is kind of tricky if you're not really paying attention, so pay attention. This says choose the word that correctly completes both sentences. So look at this example together. There are two spots, but we can only pick one word. We're not going to say, all right, let's put fit in this one and this log in this one. No, 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 no. You're putting one word. You're only picking one of these, and it has to make sense in both sentences. So let's try fit. If we say fit, then we're going to put fit in both of them. So her clothes did not fit. That makes sense. He lit the fit to start the fire. That does not make sense. So we know it's not fit. So now let's try match. Her clothes did not match. He lit the match to start the fire. Match makes sense, but my strategy is always I'm going to try out all of them before I decide, just to be certain. Her clothes did not bark. That doesn't make sense. Her clothes did not log. That does not make sense. So the answer is B, match. One word that makes sense in both of those spots. Okay? Now you do it without my help at all. So the first thing you need to do is read the sentences and put each word in there to see. I pour tea from the picture. The picture got hit by the ball. That doesn't make sense. I pour tea from the jug. That makes sense. The jug got hit by the ball. I mean, maybe, but I pour tea from the pitcher. The pitcher got hit by the ball. Ooh, that makes sense for both. I pour tea from the girl. The girl got hit by the ball. You don't pour tea from a girl. So it would be C, pitcher. Okay, next one. Okay, so you should have read, she grew a beautiful flower. That makes sense. He flowered from his chair when they called his name. That does not make sense. It's not that one. She grew a beautiful left. That doesn't make sense. She grew a beautiful plant. That makes sense. He plant from his chair when they called his name. That does not make sense. She grew a beautiful rose. He rose from his chair when they called his name. So D was the answer. All right, so that is the end of our practice together. Now I want you to click on Power School where it says practice here. You're going to do a Google form, and like I said, it's fairly long. It's got 4 whole pages to it, but it's practicing all of the sections of the different types of testing we'll do. So you'll do some synonyms and some antonyms. You'll do some where there's find one word that works in both sentences. You'll do some beginning sounds and ending sounds. You'll read a story and answer questions. I know it's a lot. It is long, but it's going to be really good practice for you so that when you do your IREAD test, you're not going to be panicking. What do I do? Why does it look like this? I don't know how to take a test like this. Okay, so go ahead and get busy.